Let's take a look at how we create MIMO users and how we can edit each user's access levels. At this point, you will have already built your deposits, dispenses, and registers, or locations. Remember, most functions and till amounts are linked to the locations, not the individual users. When we finally do add users, all we're really doing is assigning those employees to existing locations with existing permissions. Upon login, select Setup Management from the main screen. Next, select User Management. This is the screen where your list of users will appear. You can search for a user by name or by user ID. Every employee or MIMO user will need a user ID assigned to their name. Let's start by adding a new user. Select Add at the bottom of the screen. Start by entering the user ID. Then add the name. Next, we'll set this user's level. There are two MIMO user levels, Cashier and Manager. These terms only apply to MIMO's operations, not an employee's title. For example, just because someone is a manager at the restaurant does not necessarily mean they need to be set up as a MIMO manager. MIMO managers are those employees who might help during MIMO errors, like cash jams, and those who can verify MIMO's cash and coin inventory if transactions are interrupted. Those users would be assigned to Manager. All other users can be listed as Cashier. If you are assigning a user to the Manager role, make sure you've checked the correct boxes below, allowing them transaction reconciliation and listing them as a machine operator. If you're unsure about which boxes to check, reach out to your MIMO trainer. The secondary ID field will only be filled in if you're using a barcode scanner or magnetic swipe card for MIMO logins. Those card numbers would be entered here. If you're not using this method of login, simply leave the field blank. The most common method for initially setting up user passwords is to assign something generic to each user, like 1234. Then, you can check the box that says Change Password Next Login. When the user logs in for the first time, they'll use the 1234 password they've been assigned, and then be automatically prompted to change their password. We recommend numeric passwords with a minimum of 4 numbers. Dispense limits are set for each user individually. This is the maximum amount this user is allowed to dispense in a 24-hour period, and will vary based on the needs of each user. For example, if a user's starting till is $100, you might want to set their dispense limit to $100, so they can only take out 1 till per day. However, maybe you want them to return their till when they go to lunch, or take a second till when they return. In that case, their dispense limit should be set to 200. Dispense limits might also be set to a higher number if you anticipate employees working a lot of double shifts. If you don't want a user to have any limit on how much money they can take out of MIMO, you would set the dispense limit to 0. We recommend only those employees working in your vault or cash room have a 0 dispense limit. We'll now assign this user to certain registers or locations. In the Registers Available panel on the right side of the screen, you'll see all the available locations. Select which locations this user needs access to, and send them over to the left side of the screen using the left-facing green arrow. Now they're part of registers selected. If a user works in more than one location, be sure to assign them multiple access. When you're through, simply select Update at the bottom of the screen. If you need to edit a user's information, you can simply select the user and then press Edit. This will take you back into their user profile where you can reassign registers or make any other edits. The only thing you cannot edit is a user's ID. If a user's ID changes, you'll have to delete this user and build the page again from scratch.